What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to your sixth C++ tutorial. And I know I have been gone for a while, but I have been busy. I have been on vacation, and I have been working on my website, which is finally up for all of you guys who have been telling me to make a website, get all my videos organized. And so anyways, I've been listening to you guys. I did it. All of my videos are organized on my website, thenewboston.com. I'll tell you about it later, but for now, we have to make some C++ tutorials. So, if you've been watching my last tutorials, you'll notice that a couple things are different. First of all, we have a new compiler. I read the comments in my old videos about me using an old compiler and that it wasn't up to date. And that's just because that old compiler is the one I grew up learning, so I was familiar with it. I love that compiler, but since you guys want an up-to-date compiler, I downloaded CodeBlocks, so I think that's the name of the compiler I'm using now. It's supposed to be up-to-date, a better C++ compiler. Another thing is I'm now using cin get instead of system pause, and this pretty much does the same thing. It waits for user input, so your program just doesn't run. It pauses it and allows you to look at it. So the reason I was using system pause is whenever I first started teaching you guys about C++, none of this stuff made sense to you, and system pause was the only thing you could look at and understand, and it said this paused my system. So instead of throwing everything at you at once, I wanted to take everything in baby steps, and that's why if you guys say, alright, why are you doing this instead of a better way of doing this? It's because I just want to take everything in baby steps, one step at a time. So anyways, that's my excuses for doing that, but everything is fixed now. So with that being said, in the last tutorial we covered the basics of functions and how to use the functions that are built in to C++ already. And we pretty much covered one type of function, and this was a function that took one parameter or needed one piece of information in order to work. But not all functions are like that. Some functions need more than one piece of information in order to work, and some functions need no information at all. And you're saying, alright, how the heck does that work? I'll show you in a second. For example, let's go ahead and get a variable name x, or as one guy left a comment, double rainbow. Yeah, I stole that joke from someone else on my other videos, so I can't take credit for this. But anyways, we have this variable named rainbow, and we want to use the power of function. So let's go ahead and set rainbow equal to POW and set it equal, well, let me tell you guys first what the power of function is. Whenever you do like 5 to the third power, it's like 5 with a little 3 on the top right. This means 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times itself 3 times. So what is 5 times 5 times 5? Well, 5 times 5, that's 2, is 25, times the third one is 125. So we're saying, alright, so in order for us to use this function, it obviously needs two numbers, aka two pieces of information. The first one is the base, and the second one is the exponent. So how do we pass in two different numbers using the parameters? Well, the first thing we do is type in any old number, and this, like we saw in the last tutorial, this is how you pass in one piece of information. But when you have more than one piece of information you need to pass in a function, what you need to do is separate it with a comma and then add another number. It doesn't matter if there's a space in there or not, so I might as well tighten that up. So anyways, if you have a function that takes two integers, in this instance, just go ahead and throw in your first one like normal, and then add a comma and throw in your second one after that. So anyways, what I'm trying to say is anytime you need more than one piece of information for your function, you need to separate them with commas. And just to prove to you guys that this works, let's go ahead and see out rainbow and just go ahead and end that line. And yep, looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and build and run this and see what we get. 125, and that's because 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So that's how the power function works, or using exponents. So let's go ahead and delete this. Actually, let's just go ahead and delete this. And remember at the beginning of the tutorial, I was telling you guys, some functions don't need any information at all. And you guys were scratching your head like, what's the use of a function if it doesn't need any information? Well, I'll show you guys right here. Let's go ahead and make another function or another variable right now called y, and set this equal to y equals rand, and just put empty parentheses. This function is not going to take any parameters. And by the way, rand comes from C standard library. It's a C function, so make sure you have this include or else it won't work. So we're saying, alright, what is rand and why the heck does it not need any parameters at all? Rand is the function to generate a random number. It's going to generate it in the scope of, well, we won't cover that now, but just listen to this. It's going to generate a random number. So why would you pass it in a piece of information like 5 or 81? It doesn't need that information. That would just be you generating your own random number that pops into your head. We want the computer to generate it for us. So therefore, we don't give it any information at all. The computer is going to take care of everything for us. So let's go ahead and run this, and go ahead, leave a comment, see what number you think this is. Go ahead, don't cheat. Don't cheat. Alright, now go ahead and run it and see if you're right. 41. So if any of you mofos guess 41, congratulations. You are the winner. And give me a call. I think I'm going to have you pick my Powerball tickets next time. So anyways, functions sometimes take one parameter. They sometimes take multiple parameters. In that case, you separate them with commas, and sometimes they don't take any parameter at all. They just pretty much do something and don't need any information from the user or from the programmer or for anyone. They just do it, it's done with, forget about it. So anyways, now that we have all of the functions covered and we understand how built-in functions work, in the next tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build your own custom functions. So it's going to be awesome. We are done with built-in functions for now. It's definitely a lot cooler and more useful building our own custom functions, because then instead of using random numbers and powers, we can make these new functions do whatever the heck we want them to. So I'm super excited, but for now I'm gonna go check eBay because I'm selling something on there, and I wanna see if I got any questions or anything. But alright, I lied. I'm just going to pound a few beers and then probably make another tutorial. But thank you guys for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.